everyone, I am back with your weekly Astro weather forecast for the week of July 31st to August 6th, 2017. If you're interested in getting your own birth chart done, you can click on the link to my Etsy shop. Do astrological birth charts for people, not just pulling it up because you can pull one up anywhere on the internet, but interpreting it and telling you what it all means. So anyway, we are looking at the week of July 31st to August 6th, and I always look at the moon first because the moon is our feminine side, I guess you could say. It's our subconscious, it's our moods. It is the emotional side of us, whereas the sun represents the masculine. I use that in quotation marks. Masculine side, it represents our will, our conscious mind, what we aspire to be. It represents our character, but the moon is the underlayer of that. It is what is driving us on a subconscious level. So I think it's really important not just to know your sun sign, but your moon sign as well, because it's a really important part of you. So the moon this week starts off on Monday. It's in Scorpio, but it goes into a void. And when a moon is in void, it means it's not making any aspects to any other planet. So it's not a time to change anything up or do anything different. It goes into a void at 6:10 a.m. Central. So this is all in Central Time, so adjust for your time zone. 6:10 a.m. on Monday, July 31st. So we spend the rest of the day in a void. So Monday is not a good day for doing anything different or trying anything new, but it is a day for relaxing. It is a good day for just kind of going with the program, doing your routine, that kind of thing. So just use it as a day to kind of relax. On Tuesday, the moon moves into Sagittarius at 7:01 a.m. So on Tuesday, August 1st, we move into Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a very fun-loving sign. It's very outgoing, a sign that likes laughter, but it's not really a sign that gets busy and gets things done. So we're more in the mood to kind of have fun, and we may be feeling a little rebellious against our routine. So it's good for us to do something a little bit different. We want to kind of get out, so get out of the house for Tuesday and Wednesday. It's going to be in Sagittarius. And then at 4:38 p.m. on Thursday, the moon goes into a void. So for Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday day, we're going to be in Sagittarius. But then at 4:38 p.m. Central, it goes into a void. And then at 7:37 p.m. on Thursday, we move into Capricorn. And Capricorn is get down to work, get things done. So after we've been kind of goofing around for the week, we want to get down to work, get things done, get organized, and do what we need to do. So that's Thursday, August 3rd. And then the moon stays in Capricorn for the whole weekend, almost. It stays for Friday, it stays for Saturday, and then it goes into void at 4:22 a.m. on Sunday, and then moves into Aquarius at 7:15 a.m. on Sunday. And Aquarius is another sign as well that doesn't really like following the rules or doing things in, routine. So Aquarius, good time to try something different, to do something unusual or be around unusual people on Sunday. It's a good time for learning too. Aquarius is a sign that's really good for learning, especially learning things like new technologies. If you're looking to, learn anything on the computer, that's a really good day to do it. So that's the mood we're going to kind of collectively be in for the week. Next, we move on to the sun, which is our consciousness, our will, our ego, what we want consciously. The sun is going from 7 to 13 degrees Leo. The sun is Leo's home sign, so it's very happy there. The sun in Leo, we want to shine. We want to, we want to be in the spotlight. We're more likely to draw attention to ourselves. The sun's aspect, the only aspect, major aspects it's making this week is it's squaring Athena, who's in Taurus, on Wednesday. So a square is when two planets are 90 degrees apart on the wheel of the zodiac. And when the square, that shows us some internal tension. So we want something, but we're not really sure how to get there. We're not really sure how we can strategize to get there. We're not really sure how we're going to make that happen. And so that can cause some tensions where we think, oh, well, how am I going to get that? And we forget that we don't always need to know the how. We just need to know what we want. But I do see there becoming some tensions. People might question us like, oh, you have this big goal, but how are you going to do that? What are the fine details? And so we may come up against some of those things on Wednesday. So just watch for that. Mercury is the planet associated with communication. He is slowing down, preparing for a retrograde phase. So communications may slow down at this point. Things may not move quite as fast as you want them to. Same with short-term transportation as well. we may not get as fast to our destinations this week as we'd like. He's going from 5 to 9 degrees of Virgo, and he has a conjunction with Vesta on Tuesday. So Vesta is the asteroid that's in charge of our spirituality and to some degree our sense of sexuality as well. So when Mercury's there, it shows Wednesday, we're going to be very much talking about sexuality and spirituality and what it means to us on Wednesday. So it's a really good day to kind of talk about those things. And because Mercury's in Virgo, which is one of his home signs, he's very comfortable talking about that and talking about the details. And so we're going to be very open to talking about those things on Wednesday, or Tuesday, pardon me. Venus goes from 29 degrees Gemini to 6 degrees of Cancer. Venus is in charge of romance, our sense of beauty and aesthetics, and she moves into Cancer on Monday the 31st at 9:54 a.m., so quite early in the week. So when she switches signs, our taste, instead of before where it's in Gemini, where we're more likely to talk about romance or to be wooed by, you know, pretty words, Cancer is more about nurturing. We're more likely romantically attached or attracted to people who nurture us, who take care of us on a day-to-day level. And so there is somewhat a sense of mothering or fathering in some ways, you know, in relationships. So we're gonna wanna, you know, if we're in a partnership, be more nurturing, or we wanna receive more nurturing and more cuddles and things during this time. And we're more likely to do things like, you know, make extravagant meals and feed people and things like that to express our love in a very nurturing kind of way. But it's also a very imaginative sign. So we're more likely to talk about, you know, our fantasies and our hopes and our dreams in our romantic relationships. And we're more likely, you know, if you're single, to be attracted to somebody who has those nurturing kind of qualities during this time. Venus has an opposition to Juno on Friday, August 4th. And when that's two planets 180 degrees apart on the zodiac wheel, and they are obviously clashing with each other because they're opposite. And June is in charge of partnerships. She's in charge of things like marriages and long-term partnerships. And she's in Capricorn. So right now she's being very practical, whereas Venus is kind of more imaginative and dreamy and sort of idealistic. And so that may come up against, especially if we're in partnerships, the reality of the day-to-day may come up against what our sort of romantic notions are, and our need for nurturing, you know, may be in opposition to our needs to get things done right now. So expect that there might be some kind of clash. This is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that there's something that needs to be talked about, or something that needs to be kind of rearranged or discussed in a relationship, you know, at this time. Mars doesn't have any major aspects this week. He goes from 6 to 10 degrees Leo. He's very comfortable in Leo. But it's also, I've noticed, the Sun and Leo have been in the past week, have been conjunct, where they're working together with each other. Conjunction means that they're on the same, they're together on the wheel, they're in the same spot. They're slightly moving away from each other, but I found people have been very energized to do things, because Mars is all about your drive and your energy to get things done, your competitive spirit. And in Leo, he's definitely very feisty and working with the Sun, but it's also made people kind of agitated and very, like, kind of more likely to, like, kind of lash out and stuff. So it's just saying, like, watch your energies right now. You can definitely use that energy for the good, just don't use it for the bad. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and luck and growth, is going from 16 to 17 degrees of Libra. So he wants us to grow by getting along with others. He wants us to grow by working together with others in harmony and partnership. And he has a square with Pluto, and that's going on all this week. So that's been going on for a while, but it goes exact at 1:48 p.m. on Friday. And Pluto's all about change. It's all about it's about death and endings that lead to change and transformation, which can be uncomfortable for people. And when they're squaring, again, a square means they're 90 degrees apart, and they are causing an internal clash, means that we sometimes want to grow by using our power, because Pluto also represents power, our power over others by manipulating people, or we might feel that others are trying to coerce us in some way. And so we need to examine that. Are we trying to coerce others, or are we letting others coerce us? And what is that about? What are we really trying to achieve? Because Jupiter wants us to grow in ways that are harmonious, but Pluto's in Capricorn is saying we need to change structures. How are you going to work that out? what do you really want in this situation? So some big questions, and I wouldn't be surprised if politically this week there may be some power changes or people trying to abuse their position of power, so watch that. Saturn's at 21 degrees of Sagittarius in retrograde. He's not really doing too much this week. Uranus is at 20 degrees of Aries, and he turns retrograde at 12:31 a.m. on Thursday, August 3rd. And so the outer planets, when they go retrograde, a lot of people don't pay attention to it or think they don't feel it, but the outer planets affect things more on a global kind of scale, and they move quite slowly, so it's why people don't always notice things. But Uranus is a planet of change. It's a planet of sudden changes, of insights, of inspiration, and when he goes retrograde, he's asking us, over the past period where he's been moving direct or forward, the changes that we've made, is this what we really want? He's asking us to examine all the changes that have happened, to really look at them and think, is this what I want, or do I want to change things up? Is this too much? Is this, like, he's asking us to examine those things. So asking us to examine some of the changes in our life and maybe readjust them. Pluto's at 17 degrees of Capricorn retrograde. He's not really doing anything. Ceres, which is the asteroid in charge of nutrition and nurturing on a very physical level, and agriculture as well, has a sextile with Athena in Taurus. So there's things, people will be talking about strategies with nutrition and food and agriculture and growing things, how, you know, sextiles are very harmonious, but you have to take advantage of them. You can't just, you know, wait for them to come to you. So it's saying there's opportunities for us to look at things like our diet and how we're nurturing ourselves and maybe our home environment, and see how we can make those things better for ourselves. The other asteroids aren't doing too much either this week. Athena's at 8 to 10 degrees of Taurus. Juno is at 4 degrees of Capricorn in retrograde. Vesta's sitting at 6 to 8 degrees of Virgo, and Chiron's at 28 degrees of Pisces retrograde, but they're not forming any major aspects other than the ones I've already talked about previously. So it looks like it's going to be, I think, overall a fairly quiet week. Watch though for maybe some power plays going on in the media, maybe people re-examining things. You know, you look at what happened in the States with, you know, healthcare, how people kind of have re-examined some of the changes people were thinking of making and saying, is this really a good thing? You know, things like that. You know, so watch some of those. But on a personal level, I think, you know, look at where the moon is, look at some of the planets like Mercury and Venus, see where they are in your chart to know what area they're going to be affecting you in. So that's my astrological outlook for the week. If you notice anything else, let me know. On next Monday is full moon. The moon's in Aquarius, sun is in Leo. It's going to be a lunar eclipse, so I'll talk about that next week. But I hope you all have a wonderful week.